for
Yeah.
someone or something.
Yeah.
And it was interesting the language you used around learning to live without your
Mm-hmm.
mum. And I think that's something that can keep us really stuck is when we haven't figured out how to do that, and it's a
Yeah.
yearning for something that has is no longer here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I suppose, what's a trick is maybe the wrong word, but like that's when we're trying to move forward and change our lives and do something. A degree of acceptance has to come first to
Yeah.
accept the situation
Mm-hmm.
to allow you to learn to live in a new way. But if we can't get to the point of acceptance, we end up going round and round and round, and the narrative in our head, we're in a loop, and it's
Yeah.
tricky to get out of that.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think, accepting a situation isn't an easy thing. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to say it is. I mean, for some people, it's easier to move into that. And the other thing as well is that, grief for whatever it is isn't linear. And you might feel that you've reached a point of acceptance and you are
Yeah.
living a particular way, but all it takes is something to trigger you back. And then you're suddenly in this loop again of like, the grief and the missing of the person, and like your life feels unstable. And, I think that you can easily get knocked back into that place, even if you feel that you've accepted the situation and are moving forward. And that curveball could be anything.
Mm.
And that's the thing, isn't it, with grief, and that's what makes sort of it really difficult. And sometimes we don't really talk about that. And I
Yeah.
think if you're the person that has lost someone, um, it's, I suppose it's easier to talk about people who've also lost that person. But if some of that community has moved on and they're living in that place of acceptance, but you haven't, it can be quite isolating.
Yeah.
Um, and it's thinking, what are the tools that you can lean on, and how can you get to that point of acceptance?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't change it, sadly.
No, that's it. It's learning to live with it, isn't it? And
Mm,
um, it's sort of honouring your emotions and what's coming up for you in the process of it as well. Like for me,
absolutely, yeah.
and then also acknowledging the growth that you've had and how much you have healed on your journey as well. Because I think like you lose sight of that sometimes. Like if there would be no way in my early 20s that I would be able to even talk openly about my mum because of the suppressed and the repressed emotions that I had within me. So to be now at a point where I can openly share this vulnerably, it's a big deal. And I check myself sometimes when, when I'm having a moment that feels a bit tender, is actually looking back and being like, well, look how far you've come. Look how much more emotionally balanced you are, how much trauma you've processed, how much of the whole generational trauma that I have actually taken and transmuted myself. It's like acknowledge yourself
Mm,
for what you've been through and how much you've grown. And I hate the whole thing of like, but pain that happens to you, it's all for your own growth. And that, I don't hate it, right? I accept that, but hate's a strong word. But I think it's taking a moment to actually recognize yourself for that. And like that whole transformation card as well, like all the times that you've like rebirthed throughout your life, throughout the challenges that you've been through, and and how much you've overcome on that journey. Because it's easy to sort of lose sight of that sometimes, and be hard on yourself. And I think that was one of the big things that I took away from that meditation, was about being much more gentle with myself. And it was, it was a moment where I had, a bit of a cry in a meditation, but then afterwards I moved on from it. Past Sandra wouldn't have been able to do that because she was too much in the depths of it. Where it's like these things is that reminder of energy moving through us, our emotions processing and allowing that to happen, not judging it, because I think that's the thing, especially like with that Star Mother card. It's the energy of unconditional love and giving that, being that space for yourself, whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's light or shadow. because it's not always going to be just one or the other. It's a journey, right? It's a
Mm.
journey.
Yeah.
I am